Well, I can't go into many details, obviously, because the police are now interviewing him. But basically, I got off a flight from Qatar on Saturday morning. Obviously, you've just been referring to the fact that David Amess was out in Qatar as well. You might want to talk about that. And received an email, which is a pretty clear death threat, and I notified it to the police. It's not the first time I've had this. I think I've told you privately in the past quite how many times this has happened. I think it's a lot of MPs that you look at any WhatsApp group of MPs, whether it's Labour or cross-party, and everybody has their own stories. But it does feel as if it's particularly women MPs, black and ethnic minority MPs, and gay MPs who face the brunt of this for some reason.
You've had it over many different causes, haven't you? Sometimes it's been anti-vaxxers. I know there's that incredible footage of the Brexit campaign, and you had the word traitor daubed over your office building. So it's come from all different quarters.
Yes, and I, there was one chap who was just a fixated individual. He disrupted my surgery a couple of times. We had to get the police to come along, and but even before then, when they went round to his house, he had lots of photographs of me plastered all over his walls with my face scratched out with a Stanley knife.
Good Lord.
So I think it's. A lot of us have been saying for a very long time that the security arrangements for MPs are a bit chaotic. We've turned Westminster into a fortress, but
and then you leave Westminster, you get on the train, you go back home. But
yeah, I go on the train to the rugby match. I go to Morrison's, and I'm not going to change any of that. Yeah. I passionately believe in my job. I believe that poverty affects far too many families in my constituency. Too many rely on food banks. I think we could do a better job at being a more united country. Any man's death diminishes me, so I care about human rights in every country around the world. So nobody's going to stop me.
Yeah.
But I can imagine I was with a Conservative MP the other day, and her daughter had rung her and said, "Mummy, why do you do this job? Why do you do this job? Why? You're a good person. Why?"
Yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of people are saying. And Tom Tugendhat was telling us that earlier, but lots of people are questioning that. Can I ask you, go back to the Qatari link? Again, this is mentioned in the front of the Times today, that, of course, Sir David Amess was chair of that all-party parliamentary group. Do you think there may be...
And he was in...
And he was in Qatar last week.
He was in Qatar last week. And he tweeted, he met with the Emir and lots of, senior important figures in the Qatari government. And obviously Qatar has a different position on various different issues compared to other Islamic states in the area. And who knows whether that's part of the equation. We were there because Afghan refugees flying out of...
Oh, goodness.
Sorry.
I think...
Yes, I got cut off there because somebody tried to ring me. Sorry.
Oh, right. Yeah, we got you back. Yeah, so because Afghan refugees have largely been flown out to Qatar.
Exactly. And so we went to see that. I mean, it's very upsetting to see the refugee camp there. I mean, it's beautiful. Qatar has quite a lot of money, but very upsetting. And in particular, upsetting that everybody there said America, Sweden, France, Italy, Spain, these countries are all being brilliant. Britain's being rubbish. Okay. So now I have no idea whether that Qatar connection has anything to do with all of this. And lots of, speculation sometimes is just really unhelpful. All I know is that David Amess was a really lovely man. I could never persuade him to be in favour of gay marriage.
Yes.
But nonetheless, he would always ask how my husband was. And
that says quite a lot. Yes, you can differ on the political big issues, but you can still show personal courtesy.
Exactly. And I'm sorry to say this, Julia, but I think that sometimes the media, including talk radio, does stoke some of the kind of culture wars.
Do we?
And
aren't we just reporting on them?
No, you're not. Dan Wootton, I'm afraid. It was on the back of Dan Wootton's stuff that anti-vaxxers came to my office and started attacking it. So I think the media has a role to play in this. You can't have...
But hold on a minute.
Why was traitors all over my office?
Well, why have I been...
Because newspapers printed front page headlines calling us traitors. and calling people enemies of the people.
Well, I
so
didn't. That was the Daily Mail.
You personally have to dial it down.
Chris, I'm absolutely. I've known you for many years. I don't have to dial anything down because I'm not responsible for any of those actions whatsoever.
Well, I think every time we spit poison in one another's face,
every
time we add another poisonous line to politics, we make the situation worse.
But the vast majority of the media isn't doing that. The vast majority of people don't do that. The vast majority of MPs don't do that. It's a minority that do that. We need to call those people out, or those organs out. Now, I didn't particularly like, you refer to that Mail headline. I didn't like that Mail front page. I thought that was misjudged. But that's not responsible for someone. Yes, but there were lots. I think undermining a democratic vote for Brexit was also misjudged.
And the Telegraph as well. And the Telegraph, they ran sort of attack front pages on all the people who voted a different way on Brexit.
Yeah. But then can I point out that Brexiteers like me were called racist and bigots and ignoramuses and stupid and nasty people, and we had that for 5 years.
I've never called anybody.
No,
a racist.
You haven't. That's my point. I've not engaged in that abuse. The worst I use is Ramona, which I don't think is a term of abuse. It's a descriptive term. But
it's meant to be a term of abuse.
It's not meant to be a term of abuse. It's a mock. It's a term to mock, which I think mockery is allowed in a democracy and free speech. I think the key point is that there are a minority of people who do.
It's part of a culture war, and every culture war is not really interested in the subject. It's a cynical version of doing journalism. And all I'd say to anybody who thinks, let's fight another culture war, is lay down your weapons.
But people on my side don't want to fight. We would like there not to be a culture war. I mean, I think it's extraordinary that you've got people, the idea that the media is responsible for any of this, when you've got the deputy leader of the Labour Party referring to people who have the opposite political views as them as scum.
Yeah, and I don't support that either. And I've said so.
But I mean, I don't know anyone in the media who's used language like that.
Oh, yes.
Really? I don't.
I can't. Daily Mail nearly every day of the week. The Sun and Dan Wootton's columns about me personally. Your colleague. Well,
he's not my colleague. He works from GB News actually, but he used to be here on Talk Radio. But well, I'm only responsible for what I do and bear responsibility also for stuff that happens in the station. And I don't believe that is the case. But look, again, we can have a courteous and respectful debate about this, and that's the whole point, isn't it?